Hey everyone, my name is Crystal. I am currently in the process of designing your favorite jewelry organizer ever called the Book of Bijou. But while that's happening behind the scenes, I also have this vision of cultivating the most amazing platform of jewelry lovers, jewelry makers, and just overall boss babes. So I'm so excited to have Jacqueline Sanchez here of Jacqueline Jewelry as our very first guest on a little series I'm calling Mind My Business, where I will be interviewing small business owners and just getting the story behind their brands. So thank you so much, Jacqueline, for joining us. I'm so excited to have you here. If you guys have been following us on Instagram, Book of Bijou and Jacqueline Jewelry, you know that we just finished a giveaway. If you missed it, no worries. We still have a amazing discount code for you guys that you can use on Jacqueline's website on her online shop. So, Jacqueline, why don't you go ahead and get started and just tell us a little bit about yourself and your story, how you got started with your business?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for having me. A little bit of background on me. I started right out of high school, so I was like 18 or 19. I was going into college and I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. And I've always been kind of crafty, like into anything creative. Um, but I started when I was, I think, 19, just kind of buying jewelry supplies here and there. And I thought, well, I'm always making them for friends and family. Why don't I just like open up an Etsy shop, sell a few here and there, like make a little bit of extra money. So I did that. And then in about my second year of school, the sales started picking up a little bit more. And I started putting a lot more energy like into the branding, into my Instagram. Then I graduated school and I got my degree in health information management. So something not in the creative industry at all.
Right.
And I quickly realized that wasn't for me. And so I was like, I really need to find a way to make this work. And so I just, you keep hustling. Like when you have your own small business, you keep networking with people. And it just slowly grew, slow but steady progress. And so as of 6 months ago, I'm now doing this full time.
That's so exciting. Congratulations on all of
Thank
your
you.
growth and success. That's amazing. So, were you doing a lot of marketing in that first year with your Etsy shop that
I
made it start
wasn't,
growing?
yeah. In the first year, I wasn't. I didn't even really understand like how to do marketing. I had never even had a Facebook. I didn't know how any of it worked. So I really had to kind of learn as I went,
Mhm.
really learning from online YouTube videos was
Yeah.
where I got a lot of my information because at the time I didn't really have any friends that had small businesses, so I didn't really have anybody who I could like pick their brain.
Right.
So it was a lot of Google and a lot of trial and error, which I think is like just the best way to learn. You learn what works for you because what works for someone's business isn't necessarily going to work for someone else's.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Um, so we talked earlier a little bit, and you mentioned that your family would often gift you with jewelry when you were
Hmm.
younger, and you just loved the stories that were attached to them, and that
Yeah.
kind of started your love for jewelry. Was there like a favorite piece that you have that you've been handed down that you still hold on to and wear often?
Yeah, there's a lot. I actually I keep a jewelry box that my grandma gave me when I
Oh,
was little, and I keep like all my sentimental pieces in there. But some of my favorites are so my father, he's Dominican, and so there is a specific stone in Dominican Republic called Larimar, and it's kind of like a blue turquoisey looking stone. So a lot of those were passed down. I love keeping those in that box, and I really want to work with that stone one day. I haven't
yeah,
yet.
love
So those
that.
are really special to me and sentimental. And anything my mom's given me, grandparents, aunts, I've kept everything.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. So, going on with this whole, story behind each piece, are you often inspired by stories or moments in your own life when you're creating these new collections that you release? Tell us about
Yeah,
your
I
design
think,
process.
yeah, there's a lot of the pieces that I have are more like fast fashion, costume jewelry. So that's really fun because you just kind of go with whatever the trends are. But I do love doing fine jewelry pieces here and there.
Yeah.
And that's always really fun, especially something custom because you get a little bit of background on your customer too. So it's kind of intertwining both of our styles and making something really
Mhm.
special for them. And I love to kind of redo pieces that my family's given me, things that are sentimental to me. So try and kind of incorporate the designs from those pieces into new ones. That's
I love
something,
that.
yeah,
So
I've been
sweet.
really
Yeah.
enjoying doing that. Yeah.
Do they often get involved with the design process at all?
They
Like
do,
having to
yeah.
speak,
Yeah,
or
they
is
love
there like
to.
their
And
approval panel?
yeah, and I love having everybody's input too. Sometimes you critique your work too much, you stare at it too
Definitely.
long, you're your own worst
Definitely.
critic. Yeah, so it's really nice to get some input, and they all have great taste in jewelry. So,
Which is a plus.
yeah.
Yeah, so that helps. Do any of them work with you in your business?
Not right now. My mom, she's been helping me quite a bit lately though. And so hopefully one day, that's one of my goals, is to have a little shop here in Houston.
So you're
And
just
I
all
would love,
online right now.
yeah, all online. So I would love to have some of my family work with me in the future.
I love that. And you also do these cute little jewelry dishes,
Yes.
right? So tell us a little bit about that. How did that get started?
Yeah, that was kind of just for fun. A little over a year ago, I saw a YouTube video on polymer clay. I
Mhm.
think it was getting kind of really trendy. And I wanted just like a little trinket dish to keep by my bedside.
Yeah.
And so I went to Hobby Lobby, I think, and bought a block of it. It turned out horrible. It was the ugliest dish. Um, and so then I became obsessed with trying to figure out how to make them cute, like how to actually bake it properly and make a cute design. So I finally got it and I just started selling them. I didn't plan on it, but people asked for them. And so now it's kind of become this thing that has a little bit of demand to it. And
Yeah, they're
so I've been doing
so
them like in
cute.
small batches. Yeah, because they take quite a lot of time, but
Mhm.
they're really
Yeah, they're
fun.
all like hand painted and
Yeah.
zen. They're just like so full of charm and like kind of like whimsical.
Thank
I love
you.
seeing them. I love seeing them. They're so pretty. Um, okay, so let's go back to your whole timeline. Okay, so
Mhm.
you had your Etsy shop for a few years. You were going to school at the time for, what did you say it was? Healthcare, something in healthcare,
Yeah,
right?
health management.
So were you holding other jobs at the time, or is this your first like real full-time job?
Yeah, I worked in retail quite a bit. So I've had quite a few jobs. I started working as soon as I was 16. So I did a little bit of work in oil and gas interning. I thought I wanted to do that. Changed my mind. I kind of dabbled in everything, and that's how I
Right.
really knew what I wanted to do in the end. Um, and then, yeah, I worked just different little boutique jobs. And my most recent job, I worked at a flower shop here in Houston, which I loved. It gave me a whole new obsession.
Mhm.
So I love flowers. A lot of the things that I'm coming out with now are going to be floral themed.
Yeah,
So that was a really nice kind of creative outlet for me. And
yeah, for
it's
sure.
a small business too I worked for. And so I just learned a lot while I was there, how to operate a small business, a lot of the back end things that are really hard to learn on your own. So it was a really good learning opportunity for me. And I think 2020 has brought a lot of unforeseen circumstances. So I did
For
not
sure.
plan on going full time this year with my business, but I'm really grateful that it worked out the way it did. And it's been a really good experience.
So how has COVID impacted your business? I mean, obviously, people are doing a lot of shopping online. And
Yeah.
I mean, first it was like, I think there was just a complete halt in
Yeah.
like excessive shopping, right? Because people were losing their jobs. But then now there's just this huge spotlight on small businesses, which I feel like is bigger than ever before. So has it been kind of a roller coaster for you? Has it been
Yeah, I
the
didn't really
same?
know what to expect because I feel like whenever it all started, people were a little bit scared. They were not really shopping a lot. So my sales dipped down quite a bit.
Mhm.
Um, and at the time, I was doing a lot of, I was selling on Etsy at that time. And I was doing a lot of bridal jewelry, a lot of bridesmaid jewelry, like sets and things like that. And so people were just canceling their weddings left and right when COVID
Yeah.
started.
Uh-huh.
So with most of my jewelry being marketed towards brides, my sales definitely dipped down. So I had to kind of shift directions and go more towards like everyday casual jewelry. So that definitely helped a lot. So I did have to kind of adjust my product a little bit and my marketing. But yeah, things are definitely picking up now. I think a lot of people are trying to support small businesses. They're sharing us a lot more. They're, asking for custom orders, wanting to order gifts. So I'm really grateful that people are, making the shift to shopping small more instead of buying from so many chains, which is great too. We all do that, but it's really important to support small makers.
Yeah, I think people are finally, like people that aren't personally involved in small
Yeah,
businesses, they're finally understanding how important it is to
right.
our
Yeah.
society. So yeah, that's wonderful. Has Was that hard for you, kind of transitioning from having that focus on bridal jewelry? I mean, that must have been like a passion for you, right? Since that was your first focus.
Yeah, I was probably like for a couple weeks just kind of at a loss of what to do because you get so used to doing things a certain way and you feel like you're kind of changing your whole brand identity when you're
Yeah.
doing such a big shift. But it ended up not being bad. It was kind of just like a natural progression into more wearable jewelry because I thought about it. I'm like, well, that's what I wear every day. I'm not going to
Right.
fancy events every day. So
Mhm.
it kind of became more fun, kind of creating new everyday pieces. And so I ended up really enjoying the process. It was a little bit um, kind of confusing at first and
Yeah.
frustrating because I felt like I needed to rebrand everything. But it ended up being the best thing that could have happened in the end. I'm a lot happier with the product that I'm putting out now than I was before, and I didn't know that was possible. So, yeah, it worked out.
Yeah. Do you feel like your brand has evolved a lot? Like completely
Oh,
different from when you first started?
completely, yeah.
Really?
If I showed you pictures from when I first started, it looks like not even the same. I had a completely different name, the colors were different, the style of jewelry was different. It was all
Really?
everything was beaded, tassels, colorful.
Do you think that's from just your development and your taste, your
Yeah,
sense of
I think
style
so.
as well?
I mean, it's been 7 years. So yeah, there's definitely been like some
A little bit
differences
of
from
growth
when I was
though,
a teenager. Yeah.
right? Do you think you're gonna end up going back to having your main focus be on bridal jewelry?
I don't know. I would love to get more into rings in the future, engagement rings. I've kind of dabbled in it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've
You
dabbled in
just
it a
started
little
your fine
bit.
jewelry, right? With the youth studs.
Yeah, so I started those, and before I was just doing fine jewelry custom here and there, and I've done a few rings, which I really enjoyed. It's so nerve-wracking for me because I know it's such a special piece for somebody. They have it for their whole life. So
Mhm.
I feel a lot of pressure
Right.
designing those pieces, but it is really rewarding when they get it and they're so excited and they're
Yeah.
so grateful. So I definitely want to have some like pre-designed engagement rings soon.
And then you're just gonna be a part of their lives forever.
I know.
Yeah, that'll be awesome. So how do you go about like sourcing your products and things like that? Because I'm sure the process of, creating the casual everyday jewelry is a lot different than having to source for engagement rings, right?
Yeah, it is. It takes a lot of research. It's taken me a couple years of research of finding manufacturing partners that I trust, where you know that the quality of the product is good, that they're giving you genuine stones. I've gone through several partners, um, and you just kind of have to find the right fit and really put trust in them because as much as I would love to be in a factory, like actually making the rings, I'm not a metalsmith. And
Right.
so, you have to outsource help. And so I've had to get a lot of help, but I have a really great team that help me make sure that I'm getting the best quality stone, that things are being ethically produced. And so they handle more of the fine jewelry and like mass production side. Little things, I have some suppliers here in Houston where I can like get chains from, charms, and I'll, make some of the jewelry here myself.
Mhm.
But it is really nice having help for larger products or projects and more complex pieces. And they're so great. It's so important to have a really good manufacturing team that you can trust.
Yes, definitely. Do you have any kind of mentor or anything that's been walking you through this process?
I haven't. It's been
No?
YouTube.
You're right.
Yeah, 100% YouTube. I didn't know anybody that was at the time that was doing jewelry, or
Mhm.
at least the type of jewelry I was trying to get into. And
Right.
so I had to rely a lot on internet research.
Yeah.
And I've met other people along the way with small businesses that have helped me quite a bit, like at my florist job, but just not in the same industry. So, yeah, definitely a lot of trial and error myself.
Yeah, well, we're definitely in like this information age, right? Where you can
Yeah,
pretty much look up anything. And I totally understand the difficulty in finding the right manufacturer. I had to call so many
I
places
bet.
just to find one person that could even do
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. Um, yeah, it's hard, but it's amazing to see how small business owners, they just kind of bootstrap their way through it and figure it out on their own. And I think you learn a lot more that way, right?
I think so too, yeah, versus having somebody kind of like hold your hand the whole way
Right.
through,
Because you
which is
have.
great too if you have that.
Mhm.
But I think you just learn so much from failing and,
Right.
kind of picking yourself back up again and starting from zero and looking for a new solution. And it makes you so much better in the future when a
Mhm.
situation comes up. You know how to handle it, you know where to go.
Right. It's
Yeah,
easier for
so,
you to adapt and kind of
mhm,
think about how to solve the problem instead of just
right.
worrying all the time. Right.
Yeah.
So what has been your biggest failure? Or if you consider it a failure, a learning experience, your biggest opportunity.
Yeah, no, there's been a lot. I think probably a few years ago, I went through a phase where I didn't think that I wanted to have my business anymore, and I kind of completely let it go. I didn't post anything for months, maybe like 6 months. I didn't sell anything. I put my shop on vacation. And when I decided I wanted to come back, I felt like all the following I had was completely gone.
Yeah.
So you get so frustrated with yourself because I was like, wow, I had kind of built something up good and then I just threw it away because I felt unmotivated. So it really was kind of starting from ground zero again. And so I think that was the most frustrating time for me. I went back and forth a lot after that, deciding, well, do I really want to do it? Do I want to put in the work again to try and build things back up? Um, but I did. I think you kind of realize it's less about motivation and it's more about discipline in the end, because at the end of the day, you're just not always going to feel motivated.
Right.
And you have to treat it like you're showing up for work, like you're showing up for a job, and you have to
Right.
just stay really disciplined and stay consistent. And so, there's been a lot of other challenges, but I think that was probably one of the hardest to overcome, because if I didn't, I probably wouldn't be doing this now.
Right. I think that is probably the biggest issue for people that are just starting out is that they
Yeah.
lose that momentum. They lose
Yeah.
that passion and that energy and they kind of let it just fizzle and die,
Mhm.
right? And they don't know how to get back into it. Do you have any kind of like routines or something that helps you to stay motivated in the moment when you're feeling kind of like, I don't know if I want to keep doing this?
Yeah, I've really tried to make a switch in my mind because, when you have a job, you have to be there to clock in at 8 or 9 or
Right.
whatever time it is. So I do my best. I'm not always successful at it, but I try to treat this the same. I get up, I get dressed, I get ready, even if I'm just walking into the other room in my house to sit at the computer. Um,
Good for you.
yeah.
I don't do that.
So I try. Like I said, I'm not always successful at it.
Right.
But I do that, and then I've just found different things to really help me. There's a lot of apps now, like planning apps and stuff for your social media, which that's been a huge game changer for me because sometimes I don't feel like looking at my phone.
Yeah.
I don't feel like posting. And so there's a lot of apps where you can schedule your posts for weeks in advance and it will
Yes.
just do it for you.
Mhm.
So I think trying to find solutions for things instead of excuses um, is really important, but it is really hard. And especially in the beginning, I think a lot of times you have an idea for yourself that you just think you have your business plan and you think it's going to take off a certain way, and it usually doesn't go according to plan as much as
Right.
we would like for it to. And so um, I think you have to be easy on yourself, give yourself a little bit of grace when things don't go the way you plan for them to, but you have to stay as disciplined as possible.
Just stay the course and
Yeah,
believe in yourself.
yeah,
Right? You have to believe that it's going to happen. I think that's been the most important thing for me. Just
yeah,
believing that it's going to happen, because then once you have that in your mind that it's for sure going to happen for you, you have no choice but to continue. It's
yeah,
not like I don't know if it's going to work. This is going to work. I just have to keep at it, right?
yeah. You have to be super confident in yourself, I think, and um, not let the little tiny failures that you may think that they're failures, not let it discourage you, because
Mhm.
it happens to everybody. Um, and so easier said than done. I think
For
if it was
sure.
easy, everybody would do it. But if you keep pushing and if you're really passionate about what you do, I think that will shine through. People will see that and the success will slowly start to come.
Yeah, when you're genuine and authentic. And I think that's a big reason why I wanted to do these interviews, because I feel like when you make that connection with the brands and the person
Mhm.
behind the brand, it just makes you want to shop with them that much more.
Yeah.
So just seeing the love and the work that you put into it every single day in and out, yeah, it just makes you definitely more connected. I've fallen in love with your brands over the past
Oh,
probably like a week or two that we've been chatting. It hasn't even been that long, but I love watching your stories and like
thank
seeing everything that
you.
you've been doing. So that's amazing. Tell us more about like the vision that you have in the next, I don't know, 5 years or so.
Yeah, my biggest goal is to have a little shop here in Houston. I kind of have already in my mind where I want it. And so, like you said before, if you keep believing in something, it will happen. So, um, I can really see it for myself in the future, and I'm just really looking forward to that happening. I already have like in my mind how I want it to look, the colors. I have the whole layout in my head.
Which will probably all be different by the time it
I
comes.
know it probably will. Sometimes I like go online and look at furniture. I'm like, oh, I need that for the store. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
um, but yeah, that's one of my biggest goals. I would love to start doing wholesale again. That's something I used to do. I think it's
Okay.
so nice for customers to be able to shop your product in store in all different states.
So were you
Was it?
in any big retail stores?
No, I was just doing like small boutiques,
Okay.
which I really love selling more in small shops,
Mhm.
local shops, and stuff like that. So I would love to get back into that and yeah, have a store.
Do you think there's just going to be a huge change in how many people go to like a physical retail location now that we've been living through this pandemic and so many stores have shut down? Like,
Oh, I know. That's kind of what I struggle with, thinking of because I don't really it's hard to predict what the future will be like.
mhm.
Um, right now I can't imagine opening a store and I feel so much for small business owners that have their brick and mortars and I know a lot of them are struggling. But I hope that things get better and traffic picks up for a lot of these shops.
Yeah.
I'd love to have one. I want people in there. So we'll see. It's hard to know.
Yeah, I'm definitely the type of person that loves going into like small shops and seeing all of
Yeah.
the unique things that you can find, right? That you
Mhm.
wouldn't find in all these big box stores. So
Right.
I definitely wish you the best of luck with that.
Thank
Um,
you.
if you put it into the universe, it's going to happen for you. I believe in you 100%. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, for joining me today. I've really enjoyed being able to chat with you face to face after our DMing back and forth these past couple of weeks. It's just a breath of fresh air after being kind of, sheltering in place for the better part of the year, right? So thank you again for joining me. Thank you guys at home for watching and joining us on our very first episode of Mind My Business. I hope you enjoyed this. There's definitely a lot more interviews to come in the future. So subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're not already following us on Instagram, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Book of Bijou and Jacqueline Nicole Jewelry. Also check out her collection online on her online shop at jacquelinenicolejewelry.com. You'll love it. It is all so, so gorgeous. And again, if you missed our giveaway, no worries. We have a discount code for you guys for the next week that you can use on her shop. So again, thank you guys at home. Thank you, Jacqueline, so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I've really enjoyed this and I wish you all the success in the future.
Thank you so much.